Well, hello, my darlings, and welcome back to our channel. I am so glad you are here. Today, we are going to be creating a piece that is going to marry the best of the woodlands world with the stark, crisp, and clean edges of a city skyscraper. Stay tuned. Oh, and for those of you who stick with me until the end, there is a special surprise waiting there for you. For this project, you will need 4 of these foam bricks. You will need 2 packs of these smaller foam bricks. They come in a package of 4. You will need 2 of these styrofoam rounds. You will also need a small piece of acrylic garland with a pendant. You will need some small flowers, whatever color of your choice. You will also need some mirrored tiles. This project is going to take you 2 packs. You will need 4 packs of this reindeer moss. And last but not least, you will need 2 12-inch skewers. Of course, you will need your handy dandy tools. Let's get crafting. So the first thing we're going to do to prepare the foundation for our project is we are going to glue these 4 short pieces together by simply using hot glue as our only adhesion. And to do this, I'm simply going to go in with 4 dots around the perimeter of that styrofoam, and then I am going to very carefully and very equally apply my final block. Once I have found my placement, it is simply a matter of applying some pressure and setting aside to dry so that those foam pieces melt together. The next set of styrofoam that we're going to be gluing together are our 4 large bricks that, as you can see, I've already placed 3 of them together, and I'm going to show you how to adhere the last one. To do this, again, we're only going in with a foundation of hot glue, but we are going to have to place that hot glue on both sides to ensure that that brick is secured on either side. Similarly, once you have placed your brick in its position, you are going to make sure that that brick is aligned with the other 3 bricks, and you are going to apply some pressure and allow to dry. So now that all of our components have been glued together, we are now going to glue together our entire foundation so that we can start to build up our project. And to do this, we are going to take our 2 shorter columns, which is comprised of our 4 pieces, and we are going to glue them on the sides of our larger bricks. To do this, I'm going to go in again with my hot glue, placing a very generous amount going around the perimeter as well as in the middle, because we want to make sure that this brick is going to be secured to our foundation. Once you have done that, again, making sure that you have found the correct placement, making sure that that piece is squared with the flat surface of your table, apply some pressure, and then set it to dry. So I'm going to continue this process with our second brick, and then once those 2 bricks are in place, I'm simply going to apply some pressure on both sides, and then I'm going to set this aside to dry for a few moments. So here is our foundation that we have just glued together. And now what I'm going to do is take my level just to make sure that this piece is level, which it is. And you want to make sure that in addition to gluing your pieces together, you are actually placing some felt on the bottom to protect yourself and your guests from the flaking of that styrofoam. Now, once you have placed your felt on the bottom, we are now going to take our mirror tile and we are going to start laying them around this entire piece. Now, in order to do this, this adhesive tile comes with a sticky backing on them, but in addition to that sticky backing, I am also going to be laying them for added security down with some hot glue. And so as I struggle here trying to get that wax paper off of it, just bear with me a while, my darlings, and you could even possibly tell me in the comment section below how your day has been going. But now that I have gotten that wax paper off, I am going to lay these tiles down by placing a foundation of hot glue and laying my tile down. Now, in actuality, I should have laid those tiles down going in the opposite direction. I am laying these down vertically, wherein I should have laid them down horizontally, and that way I got more bang for my buck when I did it on the other side. So learn from me, my darlings. And once you have found your placement, the good news is with that adhesive on the back, it gives you a few seconds, even with using that hot glue, to slide those mirror tiles into place. So once you have found your placement and you are absolutely sure where those tiles are going to sit, it is simply a matter of time of allowing them to dry. So I am going to, off camera, continue laying my tiles. I'm not going to lay any tiles on the top yet, but I will be back to tell you what our next step is. So here we have our foundation that has been completely mirrored, both front, back, and on the sides. And now what we are going to do is prepare our rounds for the reindeer moss that we are going to place on it. Now this project is going to take you about 4 bags of the reindeer moss, and that strictly depends on how thick you want your layer of reindeer moss to be, or on the contrary, how light. So what I would suggest that you do is, as I'm doing right here, I'm opening that bag, I'm pouring it out, and I'm stretching out that moss to make sure I am getting the most bang, literally, for my buck. And then once I have done that, it'll simply be a matter of filling in more where I need or peeling off where there is too much. So now to affix this, all we're going to go in with is a foundation of hot glue. We're working with styrofoam, and quite frankly, that is all we are going to need today. And as you can see, as I'm laying that foundation of hot glue, being very careful, my darlings, not to burn yourselves when you're doing that, just take that moss and literally string it through, drag it through the hot glue to see what sticks and what doesn't. And so you're going to continue placing your reindeer moss, going all the way around the front, just using this simple process. And like I said, as thick as you would like it to be or as thin. The choice, my darlings, is entirely up to you. So what I am going to do is I am going to continue this process. I am going to go around the front, around the inside, around the top, and around the back itself. And then I'm going to make sure that on the inside, I'm going to leave about this much space open, because that is where we are going to anchor our O's or our rounds to our tower. So here once again is our foundation that has been completely mirrored, and now we are going to join our rainbow ferned round on top of our tower using our skewers in that open space that I'm sharing with you. Now of course, if you so choose to replicate this, you can place your rounds anywhere that you want them, but I am going to be placing mine in the corners of the uppermost part of that tower. Now to do this or to anchor these rounds, you are going to need two 12-inch skewers cut into half, and this is what we're going to use to poke a hole into the round styrofoam and down into our tower. So as you can see here, I'm simply trying to find my placement where I want to have this anchored, and once I have found my placement, I'm going to take my hot glue gun and I'm going to place streams of hot glue onto that skewer, and that is going to ensure that my styrofoam round is going to go nowhere. Once I have found my placement, I'm simply going to take that skewer and stick it down into the round styrofoam and then further down into the tower. And as you can see, just from one skewer, it is standing on its own. Now I am going to continue again, or rather place a second skewer in, just so that I can have the added security in knowing that this is being held down in two places. So as you can see, I put the hot glue on it. I am now pushing it down into the round and then down into the tower as well. Once I have done that, it is simply a matter of allowing that styrofoam to dry for a few, but as you can see, that round is not going anywhere. And so what I'm going to do is continue placing some flowers on our styrofoam round, and I'm using these flowers for two reasons. Of course, to lift or to be the contrast between the green and the silver mirror tiles, as well as to cover up any holes that there might be in that styrofoam round. Again, I would suggest, if you are making this for a project, to place some hot glue on the short stem of that flower and then place that flower into the styrofoam. This to be sure that your flowers aren't going to fall out of place. I'm not going to do that today, my darlings, because of course I am going to reuse these flowers. But as you can see, I'm simply going in and I'm filling in spaces where I'm feeling, because I'm working backwards for your benefit, where I'm feeling that there are some holes, and I am placing my flowers there. So I'm going to continue placing my flowers, placing my second round, and then I'll be back to tell you what's next. So here we have a piece already, my darlings, that I am looking at and I'm already loving, because this is exactly the vision that I had for this piece. And now, just so we can place an added layer of detail to this piece, we are going to take our piece of garland with our glass pendant, and we are going to simply stick it up into the middle of a round. As you can see from the round that's in the back, I have already done so with that round, but I'm doing it again with the one in the front so that you guys can see how simple it is to attach your acrylic gems with a greening pin pushed up into that foam. And so now what I'm going to do is decide how I want to finish this. You can either do one or two things. Finish it using your reindeer moss, on all of those empty spaces, or you can finish it using your mirrored tiles. So what I'm going to do is close off those two pieces. I'm going to clean this up of any glue fronds, fingerprints, smudges that they are. I'm going to set or stage it rather, and then I'll be back to show you what our finished project looks like. Well, here we have it, my darlings. Our Fairies in the City centerpiece. Isn't this absolutely eclectic? I think that I would have to say my favorite part of this piece would have to be the juxtaposition of the mirror tile with the very natural, very earthy look of that moss that has been punctuated with our tiny orange roses. My darlings, I think I would have to say that we have nailed yet another project. Can you imagine the possibilities for this piece? Whether you cover it in 100% mirror tiles or you mirror your hoops with your reindeer moss going all the way up your columns. Once again, the possibilities are endless. So, my darlings, if you have found any value in this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, as well as leave me a comment in the comment section below. Please be sure to tell me, how would you make this piece yours? What would you add? What would you change? What would you include? What would you take out? I am curious to know. To my Danny's darlings, as usual and as always, I would like to take the time out to tell you thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all of your comments, your questions, your love, your feedback, and most importantly, your encouragement. Please know that it goes a long way, and I appreciate each and every one of you. To those of you, however, who may not yet be a Danny's darlings and who may have possibly just stumbled across our channel today, kindly be sure to consider joining our ever-growing community of DIYers as we learn from and craft with each other on a weekly basis. We would love to have you. And if you so choose to subscribe to our channel today, also be sure to click the notification bell so that you will be made aware whenever any of our videos have been released. Well, my darlings, before I sign off for this evening, let me leave you with the motto to our channel, which is simply this. Say it with me. Why buy when you can DIY? And so, my darlings, my loves, until next time, I say to you, please, 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 take care of yourselves for me. Know that I love you all. Bye now. Thank you for those of you who have stayed until the very end, as I asked you to in the intro reel. I'm just going to use this time to give some shout outs to some very amazing people, new subbies, as well as those of you who have left me awesome comments. And so without any further ado, please let's welcome to our family Miss Angela Irvin, Miss Betty Wilder, Cake Lady D. Jones, Sharain, and Grandma Sandy. Thank you so very much for becoming awesome members of our community. Please know that you are appreciated. And I would like to say a special thank you to F. Cox for your beautiful comment, which says, you produce such beautiful pieces. I just love watching your videos, and I love trying to reproduce for my home, and I want mine to look as beautiful as yours. Thanks for all you do, and may God continue to bless. Thank you so much, Miss Cox. I really appreciate you. And the last person who I am going to honor today is Miss Joanne Woods, who says, your beautiful project matches your beautiful spirit. Guys, You guys could choose to be anywhere at this moment in time, but you choose to spend it with me, and for that I am grateful. Until next time, my darlings, be well.